States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to open our public hearing for the stormwater project.
That's okay. I'm going to start it over here. This is a sign-in sheet for tonight's public hearing. Since you are here, I would like you to sign in, please. I am Emily Aldall. I'm with the Kankakee Iroquois Regional Planning Commission, and we are working with the town and the county to pursue a stormwater improvement project through the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. This is not the first time you guys have heard about this project. We have had several public engagement sessions between the surveyor's office and our partners at American Structure Point. We have been in here discussing the project, and it is to do.
Sorry.
No, totally fine. We've had much worse noises during public hearings, so it's good. So this is to do improvements on the Unrow Legal Ditch, which is located here in town on West Scott Street. So it is to basically grub or to clean the ditch out, widen it a little bit, upsize the culverts, because currently those culverts are undersized and they are not allowing water to flow properly through town. That is the main drain for the entire town. So as water, we get heavy rain instances, that water all comes to that drain and moves through town. Right now, it's not really happening. So we're experiencing some flooding and some other issues. So this project will minimize all of those issues. It will correct the issues within the ditch to keep that flow going. And that is what we are here for. So the county is providing the local match. We are applying for a $750,000 grant. That is the maximum grant amount that you can get. The county is putting in $279,500 with a total project cost of $1,029,500.
Wow.
So yeah, it's not cheap. So we are applying, the application will go in on December 19th. So we've got 3 weeks essentially. If we are successful, we will know in February, and then we will be able to start progressing from there. So this is an opportunity for council, public that is here, to ask any questions, whether Brad can answer questions pertaining to the ditch. I can answer questions pertaining to the grant application and kind of the logistics of that. So Cameron, I'm going to allow you to open the floor for public comment, and we'll kind of negotiate through. Okay?
Okay, any public comment?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Okay.
The main clog in that ditch, I own the 250 acres on the west side. That water all comes through the main clog is at Ed County. We can take that out because it doesn't need to get upgrade everything in town. It's still plugged.
That is currently being, so all the culverts, except for the state highway culvert, will be replaced. And then as it goes east out of town, we're currently working on that with Neil Douglas to open that up out by the wastewater plant.
Yeah.
And then it is kind of tricky because, it's a ditch in town and it's a waterway in the country, right? So we're doing our best to get that opened up on the east side of town as well. Yeah.
And Neil does good work.
Yeah, so he's the one, I haven't seen it lately, but he's the one that grubbed it here just recently, kind of mowed it through town. He hasn't completed, as far as I know, he hasn't completed east out by the wastewater plant yet.
And just so you know, it would be, so while that is, we could not include that as part of this project that we're applying for because that's technically county property. Like it's outside of the town limits.
Sure.
So this project, although it is a county maintained ditch, it is still, it's within the bounds of the town. So that's how we are eligible for this funding. So kind of, we got to cart before the horse, kind
In a
of.
perfect world, we'd start at the outlet
Right.
and work, but this is where the funding's available.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes, ma'am, you had a question?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for what you've done so far on the ditch. It is so much of an improvement. It's great, thank you. You mentioned widening the ditch. How are you gonna widen?
So it's just gonna be within the confines, like cleaning
Just
up the
existing
sides,
area,
yeah,
okay.
consisting and just kind of basically, yeah, no, we're not expanding outside of the confines of what it is. So it's just kind of cleaning it out, so basically just cleaning what else in there and then just upsiding those culverts.
Will this be open anything on the west side of Slane?
West side of where?
Yeah, Main Street.
Yeah, so it'll be,
Goes from the
Right.
farmers,
From the field,
from his field.
right, from his field, all the way
through.
basically to the town limit, correct?
to the water tower, yeah.
Does it
I
go
mean,
further?
Well,
Well, the.
I don't know
ditch
exactly where,
stops.
yeah, I don't know exactly where the town limits are
So
at, so I
basically
should.
town limit is where we would stop at, so.
Cause it goes underground, or it's not underground.
Well, it's combination.
Yeah,
There is a county tile that runs down Scott Street.
because there is an alley at the end of Scott Street, Scott and Burke, and it turns in, is that private back there where Kuiper's used to have his fuel? Is that private back there?
Some of it is.
But is that, I guess, I remember from the plans, it's gonna stop at Burke, right? That
Yes.
culvert at Burke is gonna go to under Burke and then stop.
Yes.
Yes, with the replacements,
Yes.
correct, yes, but I don't know if they're
There'll be a
gonna
little
continue.
bit of work to transition everything in on that side, on the east side, but
And
there
I guess
won't be a lot of, as far as this funding is
Yes.
concerned, there won't be a lot of work
Right.
east of that,
Or-
due to it being, there's some rules with the grant funding that you can't start combining projects,
Right.
so.
Yeah, so if we were to put, like, the project, if it extended on east, correct, is that right, yes?
Right.
If it extended on out east, they would trigger federal wages on that job as well, since it would be touching our federally funded project. So in order to kind of save that cost, and he can pursue things now on that portion, or he has to wait until our portion is complete.
Okay.
So, we're trying to save a little bit of money and scheduling, all that fun stuff with government, right?
I guess my biggest question is, or to couple on the Bart's comment, we're gonna, the grant and making that look great and making that's all gonna be good. But if we don't have a plan
Right.
after the fact to go on east,
No.
it's a pretty ditch, but.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I didn't know if
Yeah.
there is plans in the background, thoughts.
Well, there will be kind of like this project itself, once if we get awarded, more design will go in. But also if we get awarded, then I'll know that we need to go. So there hasn't been I haven't spent a lot of time going east yet,
Yeah,
because if we don't get $1 million project,
yes,
I'm spending,
yeah.
and then it's a
Put the
whole.
cart before the horse, I
Yeah,
understand.
so it's a fine line, but it's a
Okay.
combination of projects,
Thank you.
yes.
So, the 279,000, is that the matching part of the grant?
Yes,
that
yes,
county's
the
paying?
200, yes, that is the county portion that's coming from their drainage improvement fund.
Okay. So it's not counting, that's not costing us any.
Not costing you a
Okay.
thing, it's costing Brad,
Not the town,
costing Brad.
Okay, good.
not me. I don't have 279.
Any other questions, Tom?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution 2025-1203.
Have a second?
I'll second.
On favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, I do have some
Thank you.
documents for you to sign. We'll do
We'll
that.
get the grant.
Typical Oprah boilerplate.
Real work.
You want me to go over it?
Is it something that you can sure. I know this-
Okay, the first that he's gonna sign is the SHPO conformance letter stating that we agree no historic properties are going to be impacted.
I mean, to do that, which column do you replace that? And then we go.
The second that he will sign is the new floodplain management that they released last week or last year,
And
that it happens to be,
if you only do
even though it's a flooding project, it is not in a floodplain.
substantially higher to get a culvert, 2 years later, you do a culvert, and you got
Go bring it
mowed
back.
and demowed and. So hopefully we qualify to get it.
Just on that one.
Just on the top one, got it ready for you.
If we don't, we can resubmit
Yeah.
again next year. And we have to talk to the board about that again, but.
The next is the radon policy. This project, we are not in a building for more than 4 hours, so it is exempt from radon. Next is the typical CDBG legal section. And this final one is the contract disclosure, stating that this is the initial one and no federal contract amounts will be listed on it until post-award and completion. And I will scan all these so you have copies. Okay. Okay,
And then you need the finance as well.
yes,
There's 2 copies there.
that's your, community resilience vision plan. I'll get your other letter to you. And you will need to sign this one. You're here.
It's all good.
Three. All right, thank you. You will not get a copy of this application because it's all online. But anything signature wise, you typically will get to go. This is my signature. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Sign-in sheet is
Oh, it's over here.
over there. Okay, perfect.
Just be safe for now.
Did you guys all sign?
Everybody cooperates. I did not. And you.
What's that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you. Close the public hearing and open the regular meeting. Need to approve the minutes from November 18th.
I'll make the motion to approve it.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Jared?
Not really much to pass on right now. Things are tracking as usual with all the winter stuff we've got to do over the weekend, and with pretty decent, all things considered. We do have a meeting kind of scheduled with Egg Life this Friday at 3:30. Ken's gonna be here at 3 to go over some stuff before we go. If anybody wants to attend that, let me know. That's all I really have right now. Still waiting on the extra salt, so.
Let's be here. Friday.
That's kind of what she thought.
Is that yours?
Yes.
Do you want council representatives with you when you go on Friday?
For this meeting, I mean, I don't think it's necessary at this point.
Okay.
Unless you wanted to go.
Besides that, I don't like too much else.
And your thing?
On my side, business as usual.
The dog thing, there were 3 dogs that were running loose last week, or week before. And the person that was on refused to do anything about it. Said that you guys don't have the scanner. I thought you had the scanner.
We have a chip reader,
Yeah,
And
you said
dogs.
you don't.
so I know Betty called me about a dog running loose, and then
Yeah, I was standing there.
yeah,
Called you.
Yeah. So
But-
We don't have anywhere to put them. We don't have a contract with the one on that either, so even we can't take the dogs if we're running loose.
What do we do?
If they're not aggressive, I mean, if some kind soul wants to house them, that's great, but sometimes dogs usually return to their own homes, like, eventually, and if you take them off, I mean, you run into that risk, but this time of year, now you're getting the negative temperatures. I mean, yeah, you run into a problem, but we have no way of housing them. To feed them the water and to keep an eye on them, like, we just don't have that. So, Mona Vet has a contract with the county, so we usually I get a hold of the animal controller and tell him about something like that, and then he works with us pretty well. So, we had 2 others running loose, but I found that were an issue I helped him with last week, but we resolved that one pretty easy. So usually I call the animal control board because they have those contracts with the vets and everything to house them. So,
I saw another one running today. That I don't wanna take them in because I don't know if they've had their shots and stuff. So I don't wanna,
we don't have a dog now.
so what do we do?
You might talk to the commissioners about trying to come up with some funding. I know Buffalo had one, but it's been full for years because it's a no-kill shelter, so when they're full, and then no one wants to adopt them, you run into that problem. So I know Jasper County got a pretty well-run animal shelter up there, outside of Rensselaer. Might talk to them about something, but as a town, we're not gonna be able to afford to build a dog pound and employ it,
I guess that.
yeah.
General volunteer, right?
So, well, I
And Kevin's gonna give me a paycheck when I do it.
so I emphasize,
There you go.
There you go.
I truly agree and empathize with you on the issue at hand when you have them, but yeah, we just don't have a way of housing them.
So if there's, basically, if they're not being a nuisance, leave them alone, but if they're being a
Aggressive
nuisance,
dogs, we can. Yes,
call the shelter, call the animal control, and they'll get care of it.
and he's on during the day hours, Monday through Friday, so.
Well,
Anytime I get something like that, I usually call him and say, hey, I've got an issue over here with this, and he'll follow up with it. You know, and if it's a true dog that's doesn't belong somewhere, then he can collect it and take it to the shelter, or to the Mona Vet. They actually have some designated kennels for them.
Luckily, the night that I ended up with the dog that somebody hit, which was a little Pomeranian, I found the home for it. Family didn't even know that the dog was missing. Their pit bull was still in the house, but the little one that I would have wanted over the pit bull was running the neighborhood.
And this is where I encourage when people register their pets, put tags on their pets so that we know.
This one had no tag.
Yep, that's a big thing, like if you don't put a tag on it, it's hard for us to find them,
I'm not, I don't mind.
so. I mean, then we won't be able to find it if we get loose.
Oh, you will too. You got the scanner.
Yeah, well, the scanner doesn't tell us who they belong to. We have to go to a vet, it'll just tell us it has a chip. And it'll give us like a number, we don't have a database that we can access for that breed, it doesn't give us that. You have to find a vet that has that ability. Our reader doesn't tell us who it belongs to.
I thought you had this one that you had the scanner from.
I
I thought you had the scanner from the vet.
No, it Pam's when she was clerk here. She got it all Pam's. It'll just tell us there's a chip and then we can call vets. That would be nice, but then how many people chip their pets too is another one, because I've tried it on a couple of them. I've never actually gotten one to read.
Yeah, but I see dog fights where the one dog was wrapping his collar on from the other dog. Ripped their face off.
Yeah, we just, at this time, we don't have the ability to house
All right, thank you, Jared.
Keith,
The other thing is a reminder to the public, keep your sidewalk cleaned off. If you have an ambulance call, so it can get in fairly easy. It's not easy to drag that cotton foot of snow.
Not self-fulfilled,
No.
it's self-lit.
That's all.
Kenny,
Getting ready for Santa Claus.
are you putting flags out on hydrants or?
Yes, I'm going to, but I looked today, I happened to see it on the run sheets, I did that last year on December the 28th. There's never been any snow yet. We're early.
Well, the reason I was asking, Justin's been looking for something to do. So, if you didn't wanna do it, we can have Justin do it during the day,
Okay,
if you're okay with that.
yeah, I can get with you, or have him get a hold of me and
Yeah,
show you.
he's been not doing anything.
Are they not in the fire station, Kenny?
Yeah.
Because if Jared's around, he's got a key to the fire station since he's on the service.
It doesn't work very well, but
What?
it works and play with him.
But they're kind of marked
Hmm?
to a hydrant.
All right,
So we have kind of a system. When you're the guy, you just put them on any which way. Some of that makes a difference how the flag faces. You know, it sounds picky,
no,
but
I-
you're trying to find a hydrant at 2 o'clock in the morning in a snowstorm, you'd like to see that little reflective deal. So it just needs a little bit of training how we do it, and then it's not rocket science by any means. And I got a map, because
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if you didn't, we're busy, he's got time to, he needs to do something.
that's fine.
So, that way we can get it done.
So you're saying Justin, the
Water.
guy? Yeah. Just give me a call in the morning or whatever.
Okay. Jerry, you want?
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Jacob, do you have anything?
I guess there's a couple of quick things. One was just kind of a overall reminder, because I've had this in a couple of municipalities, including Woolkit. When citizens make, I wanted to ask you, does the town have a typical FOIA or public access form? Okay, because and I may have seen it in the past, but, you know, if we didn't, I wanted to make sure we had one, because sometimes if requests are made, they're supposed to be done with reasonable particularity. And so if you didn't have a form, I was going to suggest you have one of those. The other thing that I have is I do have, thank you. I had a chance to review the White County ordinance at our last meeting. I know it was tabled on the issue of the data center. You know, whether you guys, how you vote on that is entirely your decision, but it would be my position that unless you have a good cause to table it again, you need to move forward with either a vote one way or the other, because you can't stall the process by just indefinitely tabling ordinances. So that would be my 2 cents on that. And then lastly, I did forward, normally at the December meeting every year, the council reviews my contract for the year, because it expires at the end of December and then starts again if renewed on January 1st. And so a copy of that has been sent to the clerk treasurer's office. The terms are the same as they were last year. The only thing I changed on the agreement was I changed the 2025 to 2026. So the terms, et cetera, would be the same. Okay. I don't know if you guys have any questions about that, but that's something that would normally be done. And I will put the caveat, because I think I had this conversation with Pam. It says that the retainer is due at the time of execution. I realize even if you sign it today, it wouldn't be paid until January of 26, so it can be due this month.
I would like you to be more present.
Yes,
I know.
I was in the hospital for 2 months, so that didn't help.
Right, yeah. So,
But yes, that's understandable.
okay.
And I also understand some meetings, there's a lot of legal stuff, and some meetings there are not.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
But other than that, I don't have anything else.
I have no questions. That's all. That's all I think. No.
Anything good?
No.
pass now or later?
Now,
We vote on the first one or the second?
the first one. We can get more
In the
questions.
past, I've always presented it in December.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't want to do anything with it till January 1, I don't think.
Well, I didn't know if it was that or just next meeting.
Like the next December?
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, that'd be there.
So. Okay, that works.
The second meeting.
Gary has the APV registered for December 3rd.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Danny?
Yes, so our next senior cafe is on December 17th, and it will be partially funded by the Ansett Wolcott Historical Society. Sorry, that's a long name. So anyone 55 or older, come have dinner. It's being catered by the cafe this time, so 5 o'clock on December 17th. Annual reports for Main Streets are due December 15th, so I've been helping Main Street with that. There's a lot of things you gotta get together and all that, so that will be taken care of. Their craft fair, I don't know if someone else is gonna talk about their craft fair, is Saturday, the Main Street's craft fair is on Saturday at TCI from 9 to 3.
Last month we had 42 people.
44.
44 for dinner. We usually average 30, and still had 44.
I got the, sign coming, it could be if I file. We'll be able to leave them and get signed out.
You guys have Gertie? Mike?
No, we meet next week.
Eddie?
I emailed Jenny Lynn today, and Chalmers and Monticello both have passed the zoning ordinance for the data center.
The way it is?
The way it is up right now. The amendments still can be used or be changed. They can still amend the ordinance.
To Monticello and Chalmers did?
Yes.
Chalmers probably didn't know that they could fight that. Anyway, Main Street.
She sent it Main Street.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else beyond that. They have a meeting tomorrow.
Jared, you got cameras for water plant, or what were you doing on? They got
I've got 6 cameras over that are in, I've got them in boxes, the weather kind of stopped me from putting them up. I've got them to put in various places of the town.
Those are the mobile ones you were talking about last meeting?
Yeah, those are remote ones that run off of a 4G cellular good service. So
We can
don't have to hard over.
We can remove this from old business then. Drain at Homer and North been cleaned.
Yes.
Um,
It was pretty bad. So I'm working with Ken and our paving company again. There's a lot of standing water, which I talked to you about, Cameron, already on Second Street in front of the school, because they didn't get, the grade wasn't quite right. So I've taken pictures of it, and I'm hoping that we're gonna come in and make it right.
Sorry,
Right, where it just gathered
Okay,
water,
good.
and Patrick called me about it, and we talked, and his concerns it with ice over. So, and it had a lot of standing water. We got one here too, off of our alley in the corner that holds water. But after talking to Ken, I think the best bet for us is to put a drain basin in for now, with gravel down on the bottom to help it. But I told him about the issue of sump pump. So best case scenario for us is probably put something in and run a line out here to the drain out here to the highway.
underneath the sidewalk,
Yeah.
take sidewalk there.
We're not gonna fix this right here probably with the grade, we'll have to do the line, so. We'll tackle that one, but like, I'm waiting to hear back from Town and Country on that.
We were awarded our community crossing grant.
Yes. which not everybody was, so I talked to Ken, we were pretty low.
Okay, maintenance of town alley, we.
Neil Duggan is somebody I'm gonna
Can't really do that,
know. But do we need to get bids on that?
They couldn't do it until after
Oh, it's,
snow falls.
it's, we're gonna have to wait till some thawing time, so. I've gone pretty well, I've figured out, so. But do we need to do bids on that when it comes time next spring?
I don't know, we'll just have to see what it
Cost?
see what, do one of them first, see what it is.
I'll get with you, Jacob, later on tonight if it gets to that point, so.
Okay. Amendment 86.
We having some discussion before.
Yes, so what is the process we have to do to amend this if we don't want?
Well, I guess, so normally, come out of my,
Yeah, go
grab just like, because if you have, normally the way that it works is, if there are specific amendments that you have, you would make a list of them, I don't know how many, you know, what's in your mind, whatever they are, and then you would send it back with whatever modifications you have. And then when it goes back, they have a meeting to either confirm or send it back.
Right. So,
So I don't know, I know this was discussed last time. I guess my question is, have you received any more information on if this project's still moving forward?
oh, I think it is. I think it's moving behind closed doors at a rapid pace.
They have a task force that they meet, and they're gonna meet on the 9th again.
Behind closed doors. So tonight we gotta do something to either, all right. I'm of the opinion, do we vote to amend it or we just send amendments in?
You would vote to amend it and say, these are what we're amending, you know, if you want us to pass it, this is what amendments we would have it on.
But the town council will vote to
Amendment.
amend it. Does anybody else on the council make any? I went through and I have a small list of amendments that I
did too.
Okay.
I emailed Jenny Lynn, and she asked if it was council, and I said, no, it's me personally. But I suggested on the property value guarantee that it be at least a 2-mile radius. And then I suggested that a data center to a property line should be at least 1,000 feet. And then for a dwelling, I said it should be at least 1,500 feet. Those are the 3 things that I said.
So to go on that, I would say property line should be at least 1,300.
Okay.
Personally.
We can do that as a council, and say 1,300 instead
I
of
mean,
1,000.
that's my thought. One farm is 1,300.
Or make it 15.
Well,
So make it all.
but if you went 1,500 to property line, because they're always dwellings are different. If you went 1,500 property line,
They do 2,000 for a dwelling.
well, what?
Do they still have the 3-mile well thing?
I don't know if they got the well protection or not.
Because if that's the case, I would have a question, is it 3 miles from the data center, or is it 3 miles from every well access? Because map I saw is Seafield has 5 to 7 quarter wells.
I didn't see anything on.
And that's well out of the 3 mile range of the data center, and that's touching the well drive. People
There's,
over there.
I don't think there's any in this ordinance
Oh, well,
about wells. So that's
I
something.
would ask them,
Well, that needs to go to
That's
the,
further on down.
okay, so according to this ordinance, there's something we can add to that. I
In my
have,
opinion, it's
No, it's 500 property line.
Currently, it's written as 500 to the outermost wall of the house.
And 250 the property line.
wall.
250 to property line.
From the property line to the center to their walls on the exterior wall.
So you're saying building is
Exterior.
Yeah.
Yeah, the house, but no, I thought there was property
It's
line.
250 property line.
line to do from dwelling.
Oh,
The
No,
property line is
there is
the
a
rear
property
and
line.
side. The rear and side are different.
It's
To
all-
a residential is 500 feet to the
Not
outermost
statute.
wall, and the rear and side are much less restricted.
No building shall be closer than 250 feet to the property line or 500 feet to the outermost point of the dwelling or adjacent property within residential land use, whichever is most restrictive. So, I have a note here, 1,500 feet to property line.
I'm okay with that.
So 1,500.
Property line. And we can do how much to a dwelling? 2,000 or 25?
1,750, they
1,750.
have 250 difference, so
50 different.
1,750 to dwelling.
All right.
Yes, and so I just pulled the statute to read to you about whether it's, if this is adopted or defeated. And so if a proposal is adopted under section 606 of this chapter, planning commission must print and publish the ordinance under 610. If it is defeated, let's see here. Then it essentially it goes back to them at that point. Now, ultimately, I don't think my reading of the zoning code is, as a county attorney, I'm just familiar with the process that, in my opinion, I don't think that the town can ultimately hold the county hostage for purposes of their zoning ordinances. But you can say, if you have amendments, what I would recommend is you'd say, we would agree to pass this contingent upon these items, whatever they are, and then we go back to them.
Can that just be sent in the minutes to them?
Yes, you would need a motion and a second and a vote.
Okay.
And then they can decide whether they're going to adopt those or not.
And they don't have
They
to,
don't have to.
but at least we've done our part to our constituents to.
Right.
Because the
They don't
original
have to.
data center thing is a page and a half.
Right.
That's not very specific at all.
No.
It's very generic.
And that's going to be dictated to what's done at the county level, not the town level.
Supposedly we have a 6-month moratorium, but I believe that could change.
And
So that's why.
And I can't remember, because I think the statute just changed on that in July, where you can renew it, but it can't go past a year. So it's a cap.
Yes, because the county right now does have a year moratorium on wind and solar.
Yeah.
I think it's up to expire in a few months. You can put a full year on it.
Yeah. So.
And then the removal of direct injection, 9.3.
Is that in this ordinance?
And one of them, isn't it?
it's the railroad allows it.
Oh.
You getting all this free?
I'm just gonna let you discuss the amendments.
We have to
No,
send
they're
it.
gonna have to be listed.
Yeah, they'll
Yeah.
have to give me the list when it's done enough for them,
That'd be the-
and then send it to them in an email as well.
What about property value guarantee?
I had a couple of questions on that.
Because I think that wording was weird too.
Yeah, because the way I read it, it doesn't cover your outbuildings or anything like that, it's just your house. And some people have a lot of money
In the outbuilding?
in the outbuildings. So I don't, again, legally, I don't know if that's how it's read, but the way I read it, it doesn't cover, it just covers your dwelling. And to add on to that, how much has property values changed in the last 10 years? When does that, how do you, I mean, in 5 years down the road, you want to, hey, I'm gonna cash in on this property value guarantee, but they're gonna go off of 5-year-old appraisals. I didn't see anything in here where they had it in there where you got an appraisal and they did an appraisal, and if there was any inconsistencies, you paid for a third one, that's, I think you went with that one, whether it was higher or lower. But that was that time of, when you complain, you go and say, hey, I want this, I'm gonna call in on this property value guarantee, so I'm gonna have an appraisal done. Well, they say, well, we're gonna have an appraisal done if you're too far off and can't come to terms. But again, what happens in 5 years when I wanna cash in on that guarantee? Because if it is in 2 miles, that's the town of Wolcott, you know?
I think it's a snapshot in time right now, not what your house is going to be worth 10, 15.
I know, but I want that protection for 5 years down the road, but I don't know how to.
I almost wanted it to include the town of Wolcott, because it's gonna affect my property. Sure too.
Right.
Well, it's been mine, well,
Yeah, I mean,
So,
if you say 2 miles, if you're 2 miles and 1/10, you're out.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. So they're being very restrictive on how far they're gonna cover.
how far is it to that? Okay.
It's 1 mile, it's 1 mile to where the property starts, that was rezoned to I-3. For actually, well, it'll be from 24, we call it the dirt road, no house, 1 mile. And then it starts there and encompasses 330 years, approximately, give or take. But it starts 1 mile from town.
We'd have to almost say like 10
Well,
miles.
Well, where does it qualify? Does it qualify from the dirt road edge? You know, and then 2 miles from there?
Yeah.
Because that would cover.
it should be closest, property line.
But they have to have some kind of appreciation of value.
Yeah, we
And
need to
there's
have
no
an
appreciation of value.
It's like Jeff Denman said, he said, I use my house as part of my portfolio. You know, 20 or 25 years ago, they want to retire and move south with it and want to time. You know, his house is really worth quite a bit more than 20 years.
Could we say dwellings and buildings? We can, yeah, we can, I think, because we're doing an amendment.
I think it should involve their entire homestead.
And I think it should be the contents of your property.
Guarantee the value of all residential dwellings owned by owners whose ownership is of record in White County Recorder's Office.
Okay, so
So
there's
doesn't it define residential dwelling?
so residential dwelling would be just your house.
Yeah.
Just take
That's-
that property,
Yeah, it should be everything on your
change the
property.
word in property, that,
Yeah, like we have a farm shop.
Yeah.
We do that.
Right. I mean.
Put an apartment on, put a rookie bed.
Any building that you would have insurance on is what we should.
Yeah,
That's what you should be able to, but the way that's worded is they're
That's
only
what
gonna
I'm
cover
saying,
your
that's what we
house.
should have it worded, that any building.
There some people don't have insurance on there.
Well, then it's-
I think it's just property, I mean,
Yeah.
take dwelling, residential dwelling out, but property.
The entirety of the.
Anything that's taxable.
Entirety of the property.
The entirety of the property.
You're paying property tax on it, and it could be covered underneath the
But-
property value.
But for, Jacob, you correct me if I'm wrong, but legal speak on this, it should just be the entire property, not just stating the dwellings, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so the property would cover everything.
And just to answer, somebody asked this earlier, it goes back, and I think they're under a timetable of 45 days to
Yeah.
either accept or reject or whatever they're gonna do.
But it comes back to us with purpose process again.
You know, because it said if they accept it, then they just accept it as it was originally voted on. If not, then they have, but I know they have to, I believe they have to do another vote under the 607 statute.
who does the vote, Jacob?
The, yeah, the PC.
And then it goes to the commissioners and they have to vote as well.
Yeah, it's a lengthy it's like a tennis game, it goes back and forth, but yes. And I know if they don't take, if the PC doesn't take any action, then it's just adopted at that point. And I think they have a 90-day window, which I think that 90-day already started, if I'm not mistaken.
How did they come up with 2 miles?
Hold that here.
Because if my well runs dry and I'm 3 miles away, my property's nowhere to dime.
That's right.
You're right.
That's right.
That's
So
right.
I don't agree with the radius at all.
So we
It
can
affects-
change, we can
I'm
change
gonna
it.
change.
No, that, I
They
think
start sucking off.
you
It
can-
affects for miles.
suggest it, but that doesn't mean that they.
Right.
I would write the commissioners and the APC.
Yeah, because this thing affects more than a 2 mile
And,
radius.
and the redevelopment, might as well just add them all in,
Yeah.
to let them know that you're not happy.
Amy and I were at the meeting with the economic redevelopment, when the water table study came out, it was presented. And we said, listen, they've got two options. One is out here, we just talked about here. And another one is they want to go down, Passway, they want to go down Holmes to the town line.
Yeah.
And that project is $168 million, just no wells, just a pump back in here.
Then why don't they just move it out there?
That's common sense would dictate to me. Lack of common sense.
Government.
But they don't have property owners out there willing to rezone I-3 to do that.
The only saving grace in this is the fact that they didn't get in here and do an I-3 back in, when they first did this, otherwise we would have this screwed. It would be done and they're gonna shove it as far as they can.
What mile radius we want for PDG? Want to do 5 miles? 5? 10? We can do 10, I'm fine with 10.
I mean, I would say go for broke, they can always come back.
They can always come back and say,
Yeah, because
fine.
if you say 5, they'll come back for 2, 2.5.
And that's probably not even in the is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you look at the wellhead protection thing, that aquifer that runs out here, we get our water out of, is way the heck north. You know, that probably thing is every bit probably 10 miles or more long.
They have maps
Yeah,
that three aquifers. The one that's out here cannot supply either.
They're trying to get that river over
This
there.
one, here, you're right, it goes way north, hooks in.
But it's shallow, and they'll suck that.
Yeah.
And we're at.
And the town's middle, correct.
Then the town's gonna try, in the process of that, well, sulfur,
Or they don't
Because-
allow
Reynolds already sucked sulfur with, on the leach dirt, that's right.
it. Well, what else we got? So we got the property value of 10-mile radius. That can almost be to the close nearest property line.
Farthest.
Huh?
10-mile radius.
To the nearest property line of the data center. So that way you get that extra half mile and mile.
Yeah.
How do we add in the appreciation or the property value changes?
Effective.
They're gonna go back. Jacob, you're an attorney, like, how do you put in an appreciation value into an agreement?
Can you put in?
You know, the only way that I've seen that done is like through economic development agreements, which are normally tied to a tax abatement passing, because I just did this for the solar project in Pulaski County. The problem is if you don't have a specific depreciation schedule, it's, in my opinion, it's not enforceable because it's so vague. Because show me what that is from an enforcement standpoint. I don't think you can.
I know, but, I mean, Bart and I are gonna live and die on our farm, that's where we're at.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that might want out,
The town board.
I mean, and they're just screwed if they try to sell in 5 years.
Yeah.
Or 7 years. So how do we protect those people?
As far as the decrease in property
Value,
value.
because of the noise level that's gonna come.
Yeah, no, it's a fair, and I haven't worked on enough data projects to know whether if they have like those good neighbor agreements or where they pay neighboring properties X amount of dollars to compensate. I'm assuming that they have something like that, but
I would assume that they don't, because they don't want to pay you out, so let's just assume that this is a new ballgame.
yeah.
How do we draft something like that?
Because there's some research for you, because I can't think off the top of my head. You'd have to be very specific about the depreciations of how it's calculated. Now, what I have seen, I guess I should take that back, because I've worked on some wind stuff in Benton County that you can actually lay out a formula so that it's not up to interpretation to calculate how depreciation will be calculated.
Appreciation.
Or appreciation
Yes.
would be calculated, so it's not ambiguous.
Because I mean, we built our house in 07.
Yep.
It is certainly worth way more than it was when we built,
Sure.
by a considerable.
Is it fair to say, could it be, and third option, if you want, could it go off assessed property value?
Well, but yours have property value.
But that's, I don't know how else to change it. I'm
But by
asking,
that time, it's what it would.
because I've got no improvements to my house, but my property tax is sure gone, you know, whatever everybody else tells me my house is worth.
But my assessed and my real value, when I sold it, they're different. They're conservative.
I guess I'm looking for suggestions how to add that.
Yeah.
Because there is a part in here that you have to, the owner has to, they're obligated to keep up maintenance. And if we're obligated to keep up maintenance, then they ought to be obligated to pay us
Compensate.
when it's time to sell, the current value, not at the original assessed value.
Is there any, like, tracking of real estate market, you know, over time that you would have to follow that?
No, I know what you're saying, and I mean, you know, you could do something off of the assessed value at the county level, but everybody knows that's not an accurate representation of what your property is worth. So to me, I'm happy to do some research into how other communities have calculated appreciation, because normally, like, when you study in zoning regs for like solar farms and crop damage, they have a way of looking at, okay, what were grain prices, Chicago Board of Trade, you can look all that stuff up. It would be something comparable to that. I've just never done it for a data center, so
I think there really needs to be a.
Can we just make a note in there that we want that added, something, let them work on the legalese of it?
yeah, and you know, I can talk to, I think Abigail Deer is the county attorney, and I think I can call her and see if that's been discussed at all.
Well, I know that it has. Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the you're talking about the appreciation.
We talked about it.
How because I'm not tied into the local, what's the temperature for?
She wasn't.
Abigail McKenzie, not
She wasn't grasping the appreciation value when in that particular meeting. And they have made it very clear that area plan will not enforce this. This is an EDA. So they will not enforce it.
See, I've always kind of thought that local governments like the EDA better because it takes red tape off of how the funds can be used.
We want to see it in the ordinance so that we know it's there. We have no say in EDAs.
Right.
We have some say in ordinances.
Right.
That, I think that the people want to know that there's some reassurance, they're protected. So it's in the ordinance, but it will be enforced by an EDA.
Yeah.
So
Because my guess is in addition to the EDA, they're also gonna have road use agreements, they're gonna have other things that are going to control what happens to the residents in that area.
They're supposed to.
They're supposed to, that doesn't mean we'll enforce it either.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is there any other point that we have to this?
Yes. The noise level. Which decibels is not I don't think, that needs to be changed to, what's the term?
It's hum tone.
The hum tone, it's not the volume of it, it's the consistency of the tone.
Megahertz and frequencies.
Frequencies.
Yes.
But I think it needs to, because right now it's wrote as 50 decibels to the outside wall, I think it needs to be lowered and moved to the property line. But there also needs to be added something about frequencies.
They put a noise ordinance in on the industrial park.
What?
And the two.
I'm reading it out.
Yeah, I think it's like
I have not read what you said.
It is, but when you get that constant hum, so below, the hum could be below that 50 decibels. However, with it being 24/7,
I'm a head here. First time I'm a head.
Back shit crazy.
All year.
Excuse my language, but it will, because it messes with you. And it's gonna mess with any animals that people have. I mean, there's a bigger impact, and then, you know, we have the schools within that range, and these kids, it's gonna affect their ability to learn. Because their mind isn't gonna be able to concentrate because it's got this constant noise.
Like elementary, a mile from property in the high school would not have.
Not to mention, you know, if this actually goes in and it catches on fire, we're,
As far as the noise level,
And then-
they can, you can get the decibels wherever you want it to be, and these billion-dollar companies can get to that level.
Yeah.
I have been told that, the ones in here, they've said that, they can build those buildings big enough, it's just how much money they wanna spend, they can get the decibels to any level you want it to be. It's just how hard we push for it.
Right.
But that hum is a whole different mitigation, and I don't know what
So we
mitigates
need,
that.
what I have is we need to add noise, add to the noise, add restriction on frequency.
And hertz.
So what,
But right now, that decibel is, that decibel should stop at the edge of the data center property. It should, that decibel, whatever you said that, should not exceed that, because if you're saying to like Megan and Josh, then that means you can't enjoy your outside. We live in a county where people enjoy the outdoors, and if we can't sit outside without that constant
Yes.
noise,
There's a civil statute for that, for a lawsuit.
Is there?
Pam referenced it in her letter last time. That's a civil statute for if you want to sue the other party for, as a private citizen for affecting your property.
so what were you saying, add to it, what was it?
Add a restriction to the noise.
I've got time.
I keep forgetting it. Frequency.
Add a restriction,
You know, I have a decibel restriction, but I have a frequency restriction as well.
the decibel, but the decibel right now is to the edge of the residential home
right,
So should we add to the data center?
property.
okay, so in this motion, what is it saying? Word before, add restriction,
noise ordinance should apply to the edge of the data center property, or the property line of the producer of the.
So here's a question for Jacob. So I know they're not supposed to table this or whatever, but since we're actually questioning the hum and we're trying to figure this out, can they table it until the next, just one more in the December meetings?
So here's the thing, statutorily, I don't think that there's anything in the statute that says the number of times you can table it, but they can compel you to vote, because the idea is you can't hold them hostage indefinitely. So if you want to table it to the next meeting, I mean, ultimately, we haven't received a demand or anything from the county.
well,
yet.
she said we had so many days to.
Well, you have, so when it gets under 603, I believe it's 90 days from the date of the hearing or the advertisement, and then you get 40, after that 90-day period, and a 45-day period to respond.
What's
So-
her frequency level? We can just, you know, we need a number, I guess. What's a,
We have an industrial one here.
So it would be like, so under the statute, it says if the legislative body, which would be you in this scenario, rejects the proposal or fails to act on it within 90 days after certification, it is defeated. If the legislative body amends the proposal, it shall be returned to the planning commission for its consideration with a written statement of the reasons for amendment. The commission has 45 days in which to consider the amendment and report, you know, its findings at that point. So that 90-day, what I don't know is when that 90 days started.
So then, if we do our amendments that we want, and they have 40, they come like next week and say, these are the amendments to this.
Send it back, and then
Yeah.
after that, because after that, they have 45 days to consider the amendment and then either adopt it or not.
But when they present it again, then we can also then go back and say, we thought of something else and we want to amend.
Well, because it says if the legislative body amends the proposal, it shall be returned to the planning commission for its consideration, and then they have 45 days to consider it. If they approve the amendment, then it's done, or if it fails to act within 45 days, the ordinance stands as passed by the legislative body. So if they don't do anything on it, then whatever you send to them
we can just
is
add
what
a
it's gonna
frequency
be.
number.
The commissioners over in Monticello passed it on December 3rd, because we had our first meeting December
Oh,
3rd,
so then you got time.
or November 3rd.
Okay, that's still what, so we got.
And so, because we had our first meeting or November 4th.
Then I think you have time if you wanna roll the.
Right.
You got.
Now, something that Jenny Lynn had told us too, that if all the other cities or towns around passed it, as long as they had a majority, they could go.
That's true, that is true. And so it is possible you could do all this work and it ends up being, I mean,
Right.
that is possible.
And as of right now, I know that Chalmers and Monticello City Councils have both passed this amendment.
Chalmers passed it, and not one person asked a question. A gentleman in our living room today, but we'll come up with it at that meeting, and he said it's absolutely terrifying. They had no idea what was going on, they were asking questions.
The question from Chalmers Town Board President inquired about the various studies that are now required in order to confirm that they are required within an economic development agreement, which they were, so whatever questions he had. Otherwise, no questions were asked of Brianne when she presented it. It passed 3-1.
It's also not in their backyard.
Well, I agree.
I'm just really nervous that they'll have an executive session and sweep it all in, and we're not gonna have any.
They're not doing it anyway.
And that's very
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanna have something in an amendment to get it in their face
No,
before the 9th.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but also I don't want us to be
Well, the other thing
so
to think
quick to
about,
send something in that we missed something that we can't go back and.
You can always go in and amend it,